Welcome, everyone. Have you ever just felt totally weighed down at the end of a long week? I mean, even if you literally haven't lifted a single physical thing, you're just sluggish, drained, and completely emotionally exhausted. Well, today's explainer is all about exactly why that happens. We're looking at the invisible luggage we all drag around with us. And to really bring this concept to life, we're going to view it through the lens of one of history's absolute most dramatic transformations, a guy named Saul of Tarsus becoming the Apostle Paul. It is this incredible journey from feeling insanely burdened to finding total, complete spiritual freedom. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you might actually look at your own daily struggles in a completely different light.
Okay, let's dive into this. What invisible weights are you carrying around today? Think about it. We rigorously track our physical stuff, right? Our backpacks, our briefcases, our groceries, but we rarely take inventory of the spiritual and emotional baggage we lug around all day. Before his massive transformation, Saul carried overwhelming unseen weights. And the crazy part is, he actually thought he was doing the right thing. It's these invisible burdens that completely drain our joy. So, if you're feeling stuck or restless or just utterly drained, it isn't always because of your physical circumstances. Often, it's all about what you're constantly carrying on the inside.
What we are exploring today is a complete roadmap to transformation. It's a really powerful narrative of the problem, the consequence, the intervention, and ultimately the resolution. We're basically going to treat this exactly like a treasure map, decoding it from top to bottom. We'll trace the journey from carrying these devastating, heavy burdens to walking in total, unhindered spiritual freedom. It's a really profound story, and we're going to walk through each of these narrative beats step by step.
So, the foundational premise here at the top is simple. But man, it is heavy. Every person carries three unseen bags. Not just some people, not just, bad people. Every single person. And the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that even though these bags are completely invisible to the human eye, their impact is undeniably real. Just like Saul carried this massive baggage from his history, these unseen bags actively shape our present reality and completely dictate our future. They aren't just like passive memories sitting in a dusty closet. They are active weights pulling us in very specific directions and influencing the entire trajectory of our lives.
And what's really interesting about this slide is how these invisible burdens actually break down into three very distinct categories. First up, we have the blue bag, which is the bag of sins. This one holds our mistakes, our active disobedience, and our direct rebellion against God. For Saul, this was his active, violent persecution of early believers. Next is the green bag, the bag of curses. Now, this expands way beyond our own actions to include generational weights, negative forces from our lineage, and even strict religious legalism. This was the massive inherited weight and the intense environment that Saul grew up in. Finally, the purple bag, the bag of unclean deeds. This one is all about internal motivations, selfish actions, and impure thoughts. For Saul, this was the deep inner anger and murderous intentions he harbored, all while totally thinking he was acting righteous. Between these three bags, honestly, practically no stone of the human condition is left unturned.
But here's the thing. These bags aren't just typical luggage you can casually set down when your arms get tired. They actually act like heavy iron chains. The brutal reality of carrying this invisible luggage is that you aren't just holding it, you are literally chained to it. These chains bind you to the severe emotional and physical toll of all those past actions and inherited burdens. These chains do three specific, devastating things to us. First, they weigh us down, causing that deep, unshakable spiritual exhaustion I'm sure we've all felt at some point. Second, they separate us from God, building this impenetrable wall between us and Him. And third, they actively steal our peace and joy. I mean, really notice that word, steal. These unseen bags are actual thieves, constantly robbing the carrier of the very things that make life beautiful. Just picture Saul on the road to Damascus, totally crushed by the weight of his own supposed righteousness, completely devoid of true peace, and entirely weighed down by chains he didn't even realize he was wearing.
So, the crucial point is, there is a definitive intervention. Just as this blinding light suddenly met Saul on that Damascus road and completely stopped him in his tracks, there is a total disruption available to this vicious cycle of burden. 1 John 1:7 declares that the blood of Jesus Christ cleanses us from all sin. It is a total 100% wiping of the slate. This intervention stops just diagnosing the problem and instantly pivots to the ultimate solution. It cleanses the carrier, making them truly pure and allowing them to stand completely holy. It shifts the entire reality from this overwhelming, crushing burden to sudden, complete freedom. Now, to actually experience this incredible level of freedom, it requires a really powerful dual action.
It's not just about, trying a bit harder to be a good person moving forward. No, to become holy, both the heart, which is your internal core, and the past, your historical record, must be scrubbed entirely clean. It's a deep, active process of being made completely spotless and totally blameless from the inside out.
And this brilliantly illustrates a beautiful three-step progression for a totally renewed life. First, you get a clean heart, one that is forgiven, redeemed, and made completely new. Second, a cleaned past, where there is absolutely no more penalty or judgment, only pure grace. And third, a clean life, living in holiness, fully empowered to live entirely differently. It's this incredibly logical, transformative sequence, right? A new heart naturally leads to a forgiven past, which in turn empowers a brand new way of living. And guys, this is the exact sequence that took Saul, the hardened, angry persecutor, and transformed him into Paul, the ultimate apostle of grace.
Before this massive intervention, your past is entirely defined by heavy judgment. You're just weighed down by those chains and dragging around those 3 bags of sins, inherited curses, and unclean deeds. You are essentially defined by your worst moments. But after, oh man, the past is defined purely by limitless grace. The record is wiped completely clean. Paul didn't have to drag his super dark history of persecution into his future ministry. And guess what? Neither do you. You absolutely no longer have to drag yesterday into tomorrow.
Which means victory is actively available to you right now. But it does require a conscious decision. It's a serious call to action. Walk in victory. Walk in God's grace. Walk in His favor. And most importantly, completely surrender those 3 bags. It's a totally empowering roadmap, telling you that you do not have to carry that weight for one more second. But you do have to make the active choice to finally drop the luggage. And that perfectly leads us to the mandate found in 1 Peter 1:16. I am holy, therefore be holy. Now, out of context, or, without your bags being cleansed, that sounds like an utterly impossible burden, right? Just another super heavy weight to add to the pile. But with a wiped past and broken chains, it's not a demanding burden at all. It is a really beautiful, open invitation to step into a transformed life, a life that you are finally equipped to actually live because those invisible weights are totally gone.
We've seen the blue bag of sins, the green bag of inherited curses, and the purple bag of unclean deeds. You know exactly what's hiding in your own invisible luggage right now. And you know exactly just how exhausting it feels to carry it around every single day. So I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you ready to surrender your bags today? Seriously, don't just pick them right back up when this explainer ends. Leave the weight behind and step into the incredible freedom that's been mapped out for you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep learning.